weeks ago, so some barangays had to be locked down, and because of the mass testing, so more and more are being diagnosed to be positive of the virus. So basically, the business sector, the industries, they're all affected because of this crisis.
Oh, okay. So, sorry to hear that. Okay. Pero ano naman, in terms of your company, so how are you adjusting to this climate?
In adjusting to this climate, we are looking into really trying to look at opportunities. This is a new game plan. It would require companies to be really capable. You just mentioned earlier about web-based. So a lot of the transactions has to be online, contactless, and most especially so for HR. HR na supposedly is very much connected to people. HR who supposedly the one who would support workforce and human resources. So for us, it becomes an opportunity because Profiles Asia Pacific is a provider of online platforms for recruitment, online platforms for coaching, training, and while for several businesses, they are still gearing up to that web-based, online and virtual, this has become a new normal for all of us. So we are looking at supporting HRs into this new normal. And then I'm sure that we can talk about that also later on during our discussions about talent management.
So, how about Kier? How are you?
Well, thank you for asking, Miss Chris. I've been good. Um, just a little. The schedule is just a little hectic, but we're coping. I mean, one thing that makes a career at Profiles Asia Pacific so special is that we are allowed to work from home even before that this global health crisis has happened. So it isn't much of a change for us. So yes.
Yeah, I understand that you are a trainer as well as a copy editor. So, how are your sessions?
Well, we although we have not tried yet. I mean, I have not tried yet doing sessions online, but I will be. I mean, I will be experiencing doing online trainings on training programs starting May 22. So, I mean, that is for business writing.
Business writing. So
Business
that's face to
writing.
face.
Online. I'd be
Online.
online, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So how about Donna? So Donna is one of our admins of HR Shouts. Okay. So she's here. Okay. So yun. So anyway. So Donna, kamusta ka dyan? So did you have any issues today?
None so far, ma'am. So still right now, we're still waiting for the further announcement of the ECQ, whether it's to be lifted or not. So still waiting.
Yeah, we're still waiting. Kasi may mga, we're just very, as I've been telling our guest Ken, we're kind of ngayon, on our toes kasi we're also, so there are certain posts that we're also watching out kasi they might be fake news. I'm not sure if there is some there might be the postings that you might be getting might be fake news. So we're also watching out for that. So yon. But there is a discussion in the forums that it might be pushed back again. So we're not sure. Kasi kami naman, parang as I'm actually also HR of a company. So parang mindset na namin that we might be doing work from home for a longer period of time. So this is the new normal. Yun yun. So
Yeah.
That's true. In fact, they were saying that perhaps work from home would be a standard later on. Kasi naman, even if i-lift naman ng ECQ, it does not make us automatically immune, right? There's still the risk of transmission of COVID. There's still this fear. There's still this, you would still hesitate to really be out there. So basically this new normal, this work from home, perhaps this would be a standard practice, not just for me or June, and perhaps even for the entire year, unless we would have vaccine for the disease or the virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you get any clients today asking you how to manage stress?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, kaninang madaling araw, it was more of existentialism, more of like anxiety. A lot of things rushing into his mind daw. He's been thinking about a lot of stuff about his life. So I've worked with him kanina. Short lang, chat work lang. Pero more of karamihan kasi nag-message sa akin throughout the week, more of anxiety. Hindi naman depression, more anxiety. Yeah.
Yes, because Ken's group, okay, so they've been actually doing this as their advocacy also for the period. So those who are needing help, they can message Ken. Okay, so we also have Luigi Maniego and Jonica, Jonica San Pascual. Okay, so yun. So anyway, let's go to the topic. So can anyone please define talent management? What is talent management?
Oh, talent management. Okay, so for us in Profiles Asia, we look at talent management as all activities in relation to managing the workforce in order to enable a company to implement its corporate strategies, meaning it would include acquiring talent for job fit, for culture fit. Kasi naman, Chris, one of the things that's curious about selection and about hiring people and really getting them on board in terms of job requirements is that a lot of attributes are innate. A lot of characteristics happens to be genetic in such a way that you cannot possibly train someone for a particular trait or for a particular attribute. Like, for example, Chris, did you know that even propensity to be dissatisfied, that is genetic? So when a person is always complaining, a lot of it is not just because he or she is a bad employee, but is really a genetic component wherein he or she is more at risk at being dissatisfied. Did you know that even watching television is also genetic? Alcoholism, a lot of the deviant behaviors, those that are counterproductive to work performance, were found to be genetic. Which is why in talent management, if we are not able to screen, it becomes very difficult for us to make the most for all the succeeding talent management initiatives that we would be investing on. So recruitment is just one. Like when we do onboarding, which is very much important in helping an employee to adjust to the culture or the work practices and performance standards. That's truly very important in talent management. talent dev, wherein we are trying to connect an individual's career plans to the company's succession planning, wherein you're trying to find a, a bridge in order to get people to achieve their dreams, while the company also tries to fulfill its mission and vision as a company and in terms of corporate strategies. For us, talent management also includes very much into employee engagement, motivation. In fact, now the current trend, they are saying that job descriptions are becoming less and less relevant or up to date, because employees now are being encouraged to shape their jobs. So of course, if we didn't get the right person for that role, job shaping, employee engagement, trying to meet the requirements of the job, it becomes very difficult for both parties, for the employee and most especially for the organization. So again, for us, talent management is the process of acquiring, the process of sustaining, process of managing talents within that framework of corporate strategy, while the company is trying to be competitive in the market. So that's the whole picture that we're trying to paint in the talent management perspective.
Miss Abby, kasi ako kasi like I'm not I didn't graduate with a psychology degree. So I'm actually a mass comm graduate. Okay. So let's medyo simplified lang natin. So kasi I'm part of the generation of HR practitioners na we are using MBTI.
Oh, okay.
Oo, we were using MBTI. So, ito ba is one of your, it's actually an assessment, one of your products, or do you have something similar to MBTI?
We have
Myers-Briggs.
We have a product that uses the framework of Myers-Briggs, the typology. Although, if you ask me if it's a good tool, I wouldn't say yes. I wouldn't also say no. When it comes to assessment, there are two things that we'd like to consider. Number one would be validity. Does this assessment, does this tool measure what it intends to measure? Like for MBTI, you will get a typology, right? You'll get ENTJ, INTJ, and so on and so forth. So if you are...
ano yan? ESTJ yan. Sabi ni Ken, ESTJ daw siya.
I see. So if you were to use the tool for the purpose of typology, then it's valid. But if you were to use the tool for the purpose of predicting whether or not this person would fit into the culture or would be able to do the job well, that is something that would need further studies and validation. In fact, I'm INTJ.
Ay,
So,
pareho
sabi
tayo.
nila,
INTJ ako.
Oh, di ba, Chris? They were saying that
Mahirap ang INTJ.
is scientist, right?
And in fact, architect or what yung ano. Mahilig sila mag-build.
That's right. That's right. So, si INTJ, according to that profile, would push on with a certain goal with or without collaborators.
Oh, Ken, individualistic kami.
So, meeting INT1 who... yes, correct. Correct, Chris. So, making someone an individualistic na worker, but here we are, Chris. We are in the HR world, right? So, this is a world which promotes collaboration rather than individualism. So I mentioned earlier about validity, right? So the second one would be reliability. In fairness, si MBTI is hugely or fairly reliable. Kasi kung reliability, what we talk about there is, does it consistently measure a certain construct or a certain trait? Ako, in my experience, I have been INTJ even if I'm already very much into training, a little bit of sales and consulting, but my typology still remains the same. Is that the same for you, Miss Cristina?
Well, I think I've just learned to adapt because, diba, when you are in the workplace, you meet a lot of people, and then kasi what I think one thing that's right is that I'm actually more goal oriented. Okay, so parang that has actually been dominant sa akin. Na I have to reach this. I have like a certain target, and I have yung medyo bata ko, I have to reach it even at certain costs. Okay, parang ganon. Oh, kasi ang bad side ng INTJ is ambitious, 'di ba? Very ambitious. Tapos ano siya, parang pag stubborn. I think.
Yes, correct. That's the term.
Bullhead.
Exactly.
Stubborn.
Kasi kasi it actually, pero kasi the reason I thought that, kasi yung sa, when we were looking for a test, meron nag-recommend sa amin na consultant, and we were using MBTI in one company. Okay, yun. And then, pero meron kasi siyang, when kasi people have a certain, kasi, perception of J characters, tsaka yung thinkers, alam mo yung ganon. So, syempre, a test is only valid if they don't know those outcomes. Pero pag ni-repeat mo na, people have a tendency to answer questions in a way na magiging mapapalitan na yung kanilang typology. Parang ganon.
Oo nga. So, when it comes to assessments also, another important thing to consider would be, ano ba yung purpose while we're doing, why do we have to have an assessment? Or what's the purpose for getting and investing on that tool? If you are getting it just to do profiling, that's okay. Like, it pays if you become more self-aware, and when your leader and your teammates know your typology, so you get to understand each other better. Now, if yung purpose naman ng assessment is to hire someone for job fit or for culture fit, perhaps rather than a personality test, perhaps you can get an assessment that's more into competency based. So, most especially if you're getting the tool for the purpose of developing a person. So now you are having a person take the assessment in order for you to be able to coach and help this particular person to develop into the kind of success profile that you would need for your company or for your company strategy. Kasi some would also take assessments for team development. Like perhaps you'd like to see what are those traits and characters which would tend to cause conflict or clash of opinion. So,
yung mga pasaway ba yan?
No, like for example, some people are very task-oriented, right? So some people are very much into delivering a certain performance metrics, a certain goal, a certain objective, while other people would tend to be more people-oriented. So of course, if si people-oriented maka-work with a task-oriented person, that is one example of a clash. Yeah. So
Just opposite sila.
it doesn't mean na bad si task-oriented. We need task-oriented people to really keep the business running. It's not also bad to have people-oriented persons. We need people who are in touch with relationships, with synergy. So I'm not the kind of person, I'm not the kind of HR practitioner who would say that this is bad or this one is a good typology. So depending on your purpose. So that's actually the business case for investing in recruitment. Kasi di ba pag na-hire na,
Mahirap na.
oh, that's right. So yung
kahit
yung
sabihin mo may
employment,
6
yeah,
months,
that's true.
kahit
Oo
sabihin
nga
mo may
eh.
6 months man lang. Kasi you still invest time to train.
That's right.
Oo. So, yun.
Train, coach, and all.
Emotional investment mo rin, right? And then the
syempre.
impact, yung impact ng tao sa company, the way he works with colleagues, the way he deals with customers and clients, these are very, very critical aspects of running the business and sustaining operations.
How about si Kier? Is he, ano yung kanyang MBTI combination niya?
MENTJ, Miss Chris.
Oh.
Lahat ata
Mabait
dito,
ba yun?
J. Ikaw, Donna, J character ka.
Pareho tayo, ma'am. Opo.
Wow! Tayong tatlo? Oh,
one of these days, the world will be ruled by the INTJs. Kasi kasi pag nababasa ko kasi there are forums on INTJ people. Pag nababasa ko kasi parang ito yung mga tao na world domination ng ang gustong mangyari.
Kasi self-sufficient si INTJ self-sufficient
ENTJ kasi
masyadong
is
independent. Oo.
ENTJ if he's the manager type, diba?
Yeah, because of the extra.
I have a question po.
Yes, Miss Dawn.
Yes, ma'am. Kasi a while ago, you mentioned regarding genetics, especially, or something like, kapag masyadong laging nanonood ng TV, it's parang genetically related and other attributes ng tao. Can you please expound on this po?
Yeah. That particular, actually it comes from a study. I read it in a book by Martin Seligman. He is a psychologist specializing in emotional mental health and also emotional intelligence. So according to studies, many attributes, not just alcoholism, not just complaining, not just watching TV, a lot of attributes are now being found to be based more on genetics rather than something that can be trained. So that's why Ms. Dawn, important na kung yung attribute na yun is truly critical to a particular job, kailangan yun yung makuha natin, yung job fit, yung match for that particular role. Kasi minsan, like our experience, totally honestly, no, in our experience, we have been conducting customer service trainings before COVID. So we have clients who would take us or who would get us to do successive batches of trainings for several years. So there was this one time that a particular employee attended another customer service training. So we were surprised. So I was asking, why are you attending this particular training again? Are you going to cascade this? Are you supposed to make a customer service program? Or are you supposed to be mastering this because you have been promoted? So, hindi din niya alam. So, of course, we just allow them to stay and attend the customer service training. And then we ask HR, bakit nag-attend ulit to? Di ba ka-attend lang nito last year? Tapos sabi ni HR, kasi masungit. Kaya ipapa-attend ng customer service. Hanggang mabago na to and maging mabait.
Hindi ata training. I'm sorry kasi pag kasungitan ng problema, parang sa tingin ko, yan eh. Alam mo yung tipong hindi mo na mababago. parang yan eh. Parang paluluhurin mo sa asin yan, tapos, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yung parang, it can be funny, pero sayang, no? You're investing on training people, you're investing in coaching, developing, monitoring a certain employee, and then all of those investments mo would go to waste, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the things
but then
yes,
kaya tumatawa ako kasi tatanungin ko sana si Ken. Ken, paano mo ba ma-change ang isang taong masungit?
Meron akong Ken-touch nun dati. Ang babaeng suplada, kulang lang sa romansa. Pero, joke lang naman yun. It was an inside joke with some of my friends. Pero, sa akin kasi, is she aware of it? Bakit she kagad, di ba? Parang gets ko na kagad kung she.
Oo nga, masyadong babae kagad.
Hindi, masungit eh. I mean, bira.
Bakit walang lalaking masungit?
Masungit, mataray. Siguro depende sa term, pero by how it's said dun sa context, mataas yung chance sa babae yung tinutukoy. Tama? Am I right, Abby? I'm just hearing
si Ken,
yeah, I'm just hearing the context ko kay Abby. Yeah. Pero ang sa akin kasi as I do personality development.
Okay.
Tinitingnan ko yung environment. Ang daming factors to consider eh.
That's
because
right.
Pwedeng normal yun sa environment na kinalakihan niya.
Mm-hmm.
Baka yun yung normal. Pero you have to actually make them aware that there's a different environment that they have to adapt in. Most people can adapt naman din as long as they're guided by an authority. Okay, most of the time people follow rules because there's sanctions for it. May mga ganun eh, 'di ba? There's a cause and effect. So if you get to work with a person, talagang ganun. Kami kasi I do hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming eh. So NLP, more on behavior change kami. So it's beyond we look beyond the MBTIs and DISC profiles. Again, I do agree with what Abby said. I mean, beyond those profiles, you know, there's something deeper than it. Maraming factors to consider. So each and every person is different. So with working with the scenario that we're having na masungit yung tao, ayun lang, I'd get a person that they would listen to. Okay? Magkaiba kasi yung coach na on an equal level, they won't actually listen because they will not get anything from it. So if there's a reward for it, people would easily do the change faster. Or if there's something like an event that would happen, change happens faster. Yeah.
So follow up question. When you say na kapag they listen, does it necessarily mean na they will change or na-change ba siya?
With the style that I do, kasi I mix a lot of stuff eh. So coaching, may NLP, may hypnosis. So sa akin, I work with actionable things. So for example, what has to happen for you to actually acknowledge this change? What would tell me that you've acknowledged that you're masungit? Diba? I mean, we create these behaviors inside our heads eh, because when we were young, it's like a blank slate. nafi-feed tayo ng information eh. So what I do is I could help you actually unlearn some stuff and learn some stuff. So same things. Again, I'll go with the process. I always say this sa mga ganitong FB lives natin. Anchoring. Our mind creates meaning to things. So if I could break down yung perception niya ng masungit and change it to something different that would be more appealing and give them associate some good feelings with it about that positive change, you can see the change kagad. Okay, as long as they accept it. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Ay, tanongin natin si Kier. Kasi si Kier mukhang hindi siya masungit. Mukhang siyang malambing.
Oo nga. Parang siya lang hindi masungit dito ngayon.
Kasi hindi siya INTJ. ENTJ siya.
Yung INTJ pala yung masungit.
Maldito.
Tapos si Ken, ESTJ daw siya. So pag extrovert ba or introvert, may relationship ba yun sa kasungitan? No, I'm just joking. It's just okay. Joke lang yon kasi we're just lightening up. Pero Kier, ikaw, you seem to be kasi your forte is writing. Okay, so it's business communication. So how can you develop writing?
If I'm not exactly sure how to answer your question, Miss Chris, that you said how to develop writing. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm the right person to.
Oh, okay. Kasi facilitator ka ng business writing. There's a lot of people. It's challenging for them to even write an explanation. No, pagka notice to explain. So, how can they start to
important
improve?
Yan. Oo. Yes, important sa HR also yan.
Yes, ma'am. Personally, I never liked writing. I dislike the blank page, but I think it really boils down with mindset. I mean, if you think if you are if you think that you have this fear of writing, then perhaps you cannot really proceed with what you want to write. So I think that's something that we have to consider, ma'am, as we have this fear of writing, so we just have to overcome it. And I think starting, we have to. There is one thing that I've read online, and it said that you cannot be a good writer if you do not read, or if you are not a good reader. So I think you should also start reading.
Yes.
Read stuff, any article that would give you knowledge on things. So you start also there with that.
Also kapag yung comprehension mo is poor, you really cannot write about something kapag hindi mo talaga siya naiintindihan.
Right.
A good comprehension would also contribute.
Kasi I think kasi that's why people, kasi I train people for business writing as well. Kasi it's a skill. Pero napansin ko nga, number one is talking is a challenge. Okay? Kasi they're shy. Okay? Most of the people I've interviewed the past 2 years for our company, they're shy. Okay? And then second is writing. Okay? They can do Taglish, but they cannot do straight English. So, can you comment on that? Can you comment on why that has happened? Na parang parang shy sila, okay? And then it's the communication skill. It's not that developed. Siguro si Miss Abby.
Yes. Oh, okay. So,
kasi you've been doing assessment of college graduates, di ba? So, pero Cebu has a call center industry, a thriving
yes,
call
that's
center.
right. That's right. So there are a lot of BPOs in the Philippines, right? So of course, I would recognize what Miss Donna added earlier when she said about something thing about comprehension. That's right. Mental ability, that's one thing that you cannot train a person for. You cannot coach a person to develop mental ability to be able to think efficiently and effectively. When it comes to shyness, I believe that it comes with confidence. When because sometimes you were raised to be shy because you're not exposed to relating with other people. Eto, ano na to kunikwento ko na yung sariling life ko nito Actually, when I was growing up, kami sa province, pag may bisita, so our parents would be telling us, oh, we have a visitor, you eat early by 5. Because when they're here by 6, we do not want to see. We do not want to hear any of the children. So, akit kami. No? And then, wala, we will stay there. Mabait ang mga bata before, during our time. Right, Miss Dawn and Miss Chris?
Yes.
So, bawal.
Ma'am, hindi na ba mabait kami ngayon?
Nung bata kami, mabait. Parang may statement pa na gano'n.
Pareho ako ngayon, ma'am.
Si Ken, nung bata ba siya, mabait siya?
Diba?
Hindi ko alam Makulit na ako mula nun.
Si Kier, mabait yan. Kasi halata,
Oo nga.
Diba? Pero diba, there was a time wherein pagsabihan ka ng parents mo that you just stay in the house. Walang aalis or no night out. Diba?
Right.
Sumusunod tayo.
Kasi kami, actually, hindi kami dinevelop to keep quiet. Encourage kami mag-voice out ng opinion. Pero, ganyan din, pag sinabi na matulog ka na. Parang ganon.
Oo. So what I'm saying,
Tsaka may reward system kasi sa amin. Pag mataas ang grade mo, pwede ka kasing manood ng TV later. Parang mas late ka pwedeng magstay up.
Oy, parehas tayo, Miss Chris. Mataas ang grade.
Ako man pag sinabi, pag lalabas ako.
Okay.
Pag mataas ang grade, pwede magpuyat.
Oo, pagka mataas ang grade, pwede magpuyat at hindi ka maghuhugas ng pinggan.
Reward system.
Okay.
So what we're discovering here, Miss Chris, is that yung confidence mo to speak out, it's both nurture and nature. Some people really have the nature to being shy. Like may innate na introversion, they have this innate individuality, yung parang they would prefer to work on certain tasks alone. So yun yung nature side, which is, by the way, a big component of how a person grows up and relates to the world. Meron din si nature side, like were you the kind of child who grew up dahil pinagdi-declaim ka, ikaw yung nagko-compete, you joined mga contest, or sumasayaw ka sa stage, so sanay na sanay ka.
Hindi kasi ako sumasayaw, pero kasi napansin ko, pag magde-declaim ka, mananalo ka ng contest, may pera ka. Ang ganda ng motivation.
Very motivated.
Kasi ano yan
Tutorial ka, Miss Chris.
Ha?
Very good.
Pero kasi that's why I didn't know I was an introvert until I was an adult. Kasi ini-encourage namin yung extroversion. Like you have to speak up, etc. So na-shock pa ako. But anyway, Miss Abby, Kier, and Donna, papakita lang namin kasi we want to show also our viewers. Okay, so we are tied up with Job Street, okay, and they have a date. They have a stats on sought after jobs, okay. So Ken will just pull up the slides.
Ano yan, ma'am, yung mga sought after jobs na
For
ngayon,
COVID
during the
season.
time ng COVID? Okay.
Oo.
Okay.
So, these are based on postings and so that's the question, okay? So, this is some data for our viewers para alam nila kasi some of our viewers are job seekers, they're not HR people. So, this is the top 10 jobs that are being advertised on JobStreet. So these are based on openings. So number one job is in customer service. Tapos healthcare,
Ayun,
education.
healthcare.
Oo. So, tingnan muna
Okay.
natin yung specialization bago tayo mapunta sa salary. Okay? Kasi nakaka-distract yung salary, di ba? So, okay.
Sige.
Okay,
Gusto
so
natin yan.
So, so ito, Miss Abby and Kier. We have customer service, of course, healthcare, yung mga nurses, medical support. We have education. So we have IT, okay, software programming. Number 5 is yung mga housekeeper, driver, di ba, messenger. Number 6, finance, okay. 7, clerical, administrative support. Then we have number 8, yung sa restaurant, workers natin. Then yung number 9 is ito yung sa systems ng IT, okay? And number 10 is sales. Okay, so look at the salary here. Yung average salary, ano yan, it's actually not a benchmark. It's based on the offered salary of this employer. So, in-average lang nila yan. So, may makikita nyo dyan, if you look at the data, during COVID season, yung 32,000 ang average, that could be parang, may experience na yan na tao. Hindi yan entry level. So, makikita mo.
Hindi siya fresh grad.
Oo, hindi na fresh grad. Kasi siguro, well, you can just speculate behind the reason, but wala na siguro tong training. Parang you hire them kasi they already have the knowledge, 'di ba? Some of them may be senior level or supervisorial level na. Okay? So, inuulit natin bago tayo malula sa salary. Okay, these are average, okay? Offering. So 32,000, that could be like from 25, maybe starting salary is 22,000 to 30,000 or 31,000, mga ganun.
35. Oo.
So nandun na siya, may experience na yung hinahanap.
Oo.
And then kasi
siguro. Oo.
And then yung sales naman kasi, it's just 19,000 kasi usually basic salary plus commissions. Pero yan ang hinahanap ng mga employers that are seeking jobs or seeking candidates in JobStreet. So, Miss Abby, look at the trend. So, customer service pa din dito kahit sa Manila.
Oo nga, no? It's so surprising because you might think that with COVID, you might think that companies would be very hesitant about investing in customer service, right?
Yes.
Like the clients in Europe or clients in the US might probably not even renew accounts, right? So it's a little bit surprising. For example, our observation here in Visayas and Mindanao, when it comes to customer service, usually what they're looking for are those who can work from home and those who are more into virtual assistants in terms of the BPO. So this is a surprising result that it's actually ranked 1. We wouldn't. Yes, Miss.
No, I was just going to add because mostly the data is from Metro Manila. So in Metro Manila, BPO is a top industry. So that's one. Okay, but yun nga so in Cebu, I think that kasi when I went there 2 years ago, I was surprised that madaming openings ng CSR.
That's true. Up until now, those are our main clients now. Like we have technical support, companies providing support for website dev, software dev, mobile app, because apparently a lot of companies now are really investing into technology all over the world. So suddenly we were forced to be in virtual teams.
Yes.
So that's the kind of trend that we can see here in Cebu, and I'm sure you would agree with that, Chris, right?
Yes. And then with finance, okay, I'm also surprised that it's actually number 6 because I think the trend is because people are now more conscious of their spending, so companies are also studying their costs, and they want to be up to date all the time. So I think that's why they have general and cost accounting. So yon. And then of course number 2, healthcare. We're not really surprised because we need nurses, we need medical support staff, yung mga ganun.
Kailangan. Yeah.
So
So,
even NGOs
Educate.
and foundations, right? They're also getting healthcare workers to support in their
Miss
CSR.
Chris?
yes.
Miss Chris?
Yes.
Um, I'm sorry, but I would have to disagree with the statement that finance. It is surprising that finance is on the 6th spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it it's because of the banks. I mean,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I've known I know people who work in banks right now, and he said that reportedly some employees of the bank aren't going to aren't reporting work. So what the banks had to do, or worse, they would resign from their jobs because of the fear of the virus. So what the banks would do is to hire for more people. So so their workforce wouldn't be paralyzed. So I think that perhaps is the reason why finance is on that spot.
Yeah, that could be a valid explanation. Kasi the reason I said I was surprised, kasi usually yung mga accountant, hindi yan nag-resign. They would be there until the
Tama.
company closes down. Ganon.
Closes. Yes, yes. That's
So
true.
that's why,
Kasi lahat ng finances, i-check niya eh.
So let's see. For you, from your end, Miss Abby, like for example, so we know that customer service, there are more of communication skills. Okay, so what are the skills needed for a healthcare professional? What will you be watching out for?
For me, I can see a growing concern in terms of resilience. Of course, it's a given that healthcare practitioners would be functionally and technically competent in their field in terms of patient care and hospital services. But I think one of the special component for a healthcare professional at this point in time is not just that functional and technical competence, but including resilience, right? Resilience, stable in terms of emotion and mental health. And
Yes.
yes, that's true. You can just imagine, perhaps, no, if you were a frontliner, and of course, if you have your own family, but then you have to go there, it's part of your profession, right? So I think that's one special component. Client care would really mean being more emotionally intelligent in terms of dealing with not just the patient, because the person who really suffers there are the relatives, the people around you. They are the ones that are who are very much affected when it comes to healthcare. Di ba sa una, Miss Chris, there were times that we would be surprised that healthcare professionals sometimes they would tend to be impatient or doctors making us wait for a long time. I think in this COVID pandemic crisis, um, it becomes more important that they have the orientation, the competence in terms of patient care and really resilience to deal with this, both in the professional level and in the personal context as well. So those are the things that would really be needed right now, Miss Chris.
So
I
in
think that would, yes, Miss Chris.
yeah, ma'am, you can continue.
I think that would apply to all of those in the exempted sector. Um, we also have frontliners who are not medical practitioners. Kier already mentioned bank.
Yeah.
So you can also imagine that people in the exempted sector, those giving essential services, they are also very important frontliners who needs resilience, tenacity, mental
Yes.
health,
Ito yung
and
sinasabi
also
nila, grit.
oh
G-R-I-T.
yes,
Grit.
Yeah.
GRIT.
kahit yung mga guards, especially may mga dala silang mga baril or whatsoever. So, nagiging frontliner na rin sila.
All right,
So,
yes.
kailangan din strong minds. Dapat din
Yeah,
ng,
true.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
For IT, kasi we have here two entries for IT. Okay, so napapansin ko, this is the territory of introverts. Okay, how can IT professionals move up, okay, or progress? Kasi alam natin introverts sila eh. But how can they be more effective in their jobs?
Oh, you'll be surprised, Miss Chris, no? Because tayong mga introvert, most people would think that we are shy or we don't care about other people or we just want to care for ourselves and things like that. But actually, recent studies have shown, Miss Chris, that actually introverts have an edge in terms of innovation, entrepreneurship, sales, and customer service. Because according to recent studies, while extroverts daw, they would be oriented towards talking, reaching out to the external world, and expressing themselves. Si introverts daw, they would tend to pause, analyze, they would tend to observe more. And I think because they are able to listen and to observe and think, um, they have certain matured or a certain level of understanding of client needs. And I think that is one edge when it comes to IT because you really have to invest so much into innovating something. So you would rather develop a certain innovation that really matches the client needs or is really in touch with the client requirement for a certain solution that you're trying to develop for technology. So I believe that in the IT world, even if if even introverts can really go up the ladder, one of the things that I am seeing as very important is adaptability to adjusting conditions, especially in this COVID time. Di ba, Miss Chris, no? Before, we already knew what our clients need. We already know what our customers want. But this time, this is different. It's a whole new world, no? Um, Meaning it requires us to again assess everything or try to diagnose again what our clients need or trying to be sensitive about trends, about new client requirements, and how we can fit in our solution to that particular need.
Wow. So I think a lot of introverted software programmers, okay, that's our message for you, okay. So you have your qualities because they always say I'm an introvert, and because they cannot communicate well, parang hindi low yung self-confidence nila. Okay, so that data is from JobStreet, okay, our partner for content. So Ken, okay, we're okay na. Okay, we can revert to full screen. So for more of that, you can catch them kasi may bagong app yung yung JobStreet. So they have those data which they offer employers. So how about you, your company, Profiles Asia? Do you have like a survey or do you have?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we did a survey because we actually wanted to come prepared. And we're also doing our own market study, also trying to understand how the market has changed, how we can be of service to the community and to the HR world. So according to our survey, actually we run it through Google survey. In order to encourage respondents to give their answers, we gave a free link for an assessment. It's the Profiles Tenacity assessment. Were you able to take that particular assessment, Miss Chris?
Yes, I did. That's why I'm curious. So as to the results of the survey.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so what we found out is that the top three main concerns now in talent management is number one, identifying required competencies. That's number one.
Ano yung kailangan, the skills.
That's true. So that's a little bit surprising because not being able to identify the required competencies would already be a hindrance, or it would already be a challenge in terms of identifying job requirements for hiring, competencies that you need to develop through trainings and talent management initiatives, and so on and so forth. Pero dun sa survey, it's number one, identifying the required competencies. No? And that's why in our advocacy, we would be encouraging HR practitioners to really be more familiar and in touch with competency-based HR management. And then second,
Ma'am, I'll just ask a question. Okay, so competency and skills. Okay. Kasi baka nako-confuse sa terms. What is a competency and what is a skill?
Okay, thank you for asking that question, Miss Chris. So, see, competency is actually not just a skill. So, in a particular competency, it has to come with a certain required set of knowledge. It also has to come with a certain set of attributes. And skill comes in sa competency. So meaning it's the whole entire package which enables a person to perform a job or a certain task requirement for a profession or a career. To tell you honestly, in the competency framework, knowledge you can read. You can get to know a certain set of knowledge. See, skill, you can be trained, right? You can learn a skill on your own or you can enroll in courses. Si attribute, medyo mahirap, right? It would have to take conscious effort to get past a certain attribute or to develop the conviction to even change an attribute. I can say that passionately because I've that's my own personal journey, Miss Chris. Um, as an introvert, I used to be shy. I couldn't imagine myself doing trainings and doing coaching and consulting and helping clients and facilitating meetings and processes. And even this, that I'll be in a podcast with you guys.
Well, it's the new normal. Lahat may podcast
So,
na. Si Ken nga,
diba?
everyday
So,
may podcast ata.
so, diba? So, grabe yung journey ko, Miss Chris. I've been doing training for like almost 10 years. But then the jitters, the fear, the anxiety, the stress, it's all still there. No, even before we started this podcast, kami ni Kier, we were so nervous actually about being here, guesting here. So, yes, you can transcend.
Mhm.
Yes, Kier. Di ba you can transcend from a certain attribute? Pero journey.
Si Kier, nagpa-practice yan. Kasi meron siyang online trainings So, he wanted to get over his stage fright. Good. So, ma'am, having identified that the problem is identifying the problem competencies. So, what else are the findings of your survey?
Oh, yeah. Top concerns in talent management, one is identifying required competency. Second is ensuring that there is return on investment from talent management investments. So,
ROI.
ROI, which I think is also connected to identifying required competencies. Because if you can identify the required competency, you can align your selection program, you can get the right people, you know what aspect or what competency you need to train them for, and you know exactly how you would promote people because you have the complete set of competencies required. And number 3, evaluating the impact and effectiveness of talent management investments, which means that perhaps we are still struggling when it comes to aligning our talent management investments to business, to profitability, to visible returns, which is actually a journey for a lot of HRs. Which is why part of my advocacy also is that I would encourage HRs to really develop their business acumen. Because if you have the entrepreneurial mindset, you have the corporate strategy in mind and in your heart. So most definitely you can give more value, especially when you're trying to develop your talent management initiatives in the company. So those are the top 3 concerns. Concerns in talent management. Another survey result, top 3 trainings of interest right now. Number 1 is stress management.
Stress management.
Number 1. And then number 2 is organization development. Number 3, si personal development. So si stress management and the personal development, I think it's because a lot of people now are really conscious in retooling themselves. And I think that's a good thing of dealing with the stress and the anxiety of, this uncertainty. I think organization development is also top 1 here, or it's included in the top 3 because now we have come to realize that because of this new normal, we would most definitely have to redesign our organization. Like, for example, we need to examine if the solutions that we're bringing out to the market is still relevant to the customers in the first place, right? So those are the top 3 trainings of interest. You'll be surprised, Miss Chris, because
Actually, kasi
yes,
parang
Miss.
connected siya lahat eh. Kasi I think there's challenge. Kasi like being in HR, it's just in the books naman that you can do prioritization. Kaya lang, when you're in the actual, ang tawag namin doon, the war zone, parang sa HR kasi sabay-sabay lahat binabaksak eh. So there's a problem with prioritizing kung ano yung talaga HR agenda for the year. So kaya hindi rin siguro ma-identify yung ROI, kung ano yung kasi if you can focus on a few trainings or a few things to rectify, then your budget and your expenses are controlled. Then you can have ROI, I think. Yun yung aking iniisip. So, dahil palaging binabaksak lahat sa HR, hindi siya, di ba? Hindi siya nakakapag-prioritize. That's just my, just my explanation. If you are, in the actual, office scenario, okay?
But I would agree with you, Miss Chris. If you're busy with SBWS, with camp, inaway ka na ng mga employees. Of course, it's so difficult, no?
Nakarelate kami ni Donna.
So I can just imagine.
Yes, diba mabait
Chris.
naman yung mga employees namin. But syempre, kasi since we're busy with the forums, we have encountered a lot of comments and some private chat na inaaway sila. So we feel for them. Tapos I guess also one thing that just to react, one thing that happened that was kasi look at the silver lining na lang kasi hindi naman tayo pwedeng maging negative all the time. But this is just a silver lining because we are on work from home. Actually, this has simplified matters for us kasi mas nakatutok ka ngayon sa performance ng mga tao kasi you can monitor it na through the internet, web-based, and then you're more in touch sa mga tao. So you can be part of operations already. So now mas nakikita nila kung ano yung actual goings on and then some problems and then those that can be linked to deficiencies in the competency level. Parang ganun. So, makikita na nila yan. Kasi na-simplify na wala ka na sa office. Nakatutok ka na lang dyan sa monitor mo. Okay. So, actually, that's a good development for me. And then you're also not, kasi since you're not managing, kasi karamihan ng HR, they're also HR and admin officers. So hindi mo na pinag-iisipan yung cleanliness ng office, kung may alcohol kayo. Hindi mo na yun.
Ako yun. Kung may sabon, kung may Clorox, maglalaban na ba ako?
Yun. So I think that's a silver lining to the work from home arrangement. Okay? But syempre, there are still other problems that are, we are facing. Yun. How about ghosting? Will this be rectified or will this stay in the new normal?
Actually, ma'am, Miss Chris, I just have 3 thoughts on ghosting. Candidates ghosting recruiters. But before we go far from the topic, let us define first what is ghosting. And ghosting is simply a candidate not showing up in a job interview or something like that. So the 3 thoughts that I think are the reasons why candidates ghost recruiters are, first, he or she may have a trust issue, and that is maybe because of the credibility of an employer. Perhaps it comes with the marketing collaterals, the collaterals you post on Job Street, even on social media. So it is very important to build your employer brand, or perhaps you should call it the corporate brand, and have presentable marketing collaterals. So because in this time, especially in this time of physical distancing, um, I have to do this shameless plug, but good business writing is becoming ever more critical because it is often perceived as being more credible. And of course, credibility in business is an essential building block and a critical part of the foundation of your brand and your business. And that way, candidates would not ghost you for a job interview. So that is my first one, Miss Chris. Trust issue of a candidate to the employer. And second is some recruiters, although I understand that HR professionals have a really tight schedule, but some recruiters just do not respect the time of candidates who are applying. It's silly to ask candidates though to be professional, but the turnaround of HR professionals sometimes, I'm not saying everyone, but some of the HR professionals, their turnaround time may not be as professional as they expect the candidates would be. So the tip I could give for that is that perhaps you could have an online platform that is flexible, and yes, and some an online platform that would not require you to attend every job interview. Something that you have something. I'm not something that could have your already have your questions and could record the answers of the candidates, so that you can just review it online. So something like that, an online video interviewing platform.
Well, they can make it easier for candidates to attend interviews. Okay, so we have Zoom already. You can also use Skype.
Zoom, Skype, many.
But I think the main
Even Facebook Messenger.
the main reason is that kasi like I also recruit, okay, and we have that's why I like Job Street, okay, ever since, because they have a lot of features, okay, that will really showcase yung like if your company is really legit, okay, then you have to present your company professionally on job portals. Kasi, di ba, parang pagka mukha kang fly by night, then there are, of course, it's actually impression also. You're selling your brand or your company itself, okay, to a prospective hire. So it's better that you make a good impression also.
Yes, Miss Chris.
Profile,
I understand that video chat apps or
conferencing, video interviews.
Yes, Miss Dana.
No. Sorry.
So she kasi nakaka-relate yan si Donna kasi na-ghost na eh.
Oo. Nagdagdag lang ako ng ideas. Yeah.
And then for kasi of course through our careers naman we have been applicants. So we have experience recruiters. Well, it's better now, but because mga 3 hours ka na lang pinapahintay. Kasi during my time, when I graduated 95, so I started looking for work 1995. And 8 hours ako naghintay just to be interviewed. I came mga around 9 o'clock. I was interviewed at 6 p.m.
Wow, your grit is so impressive. You really waited.
Well, they said
siguro then another thing din to consider is yung location. So kung malayo yung aatenan mong interview venue, sometimes people would just ghost you.
Yeah, especially if you're in VGC,
Lalo na
mahirap.
ngayon COVID-19.
Kami ginaghost kami
No.
kasi I don't know if this is a problem of transportation or what. Kasi parang some of them we would phone interview. We would phone interview kasi it's the most convenient. Kasi we don't want people to be going to our office. Pero yun nga, as in even if they commit, they would ghost kasi I think, and then they would supply an explanation later na nahirapan sila with commuting.
Oo
And
nga.
I have a follow-up question on that. For example, the candidate or the candidate has already been shortlisted and offered. Meron na siyang job offer. So, but then, at the end of the day, hindi pa rin siya dadating or hindi niya tatanggapin yung offer. Kahit na nagsabi na siya, okay, tinatanggap ko yung offer, pero sa last ng event, hindi siya dadating. Ika-cancel niya. Why?
That's really common.
Yeah.
Maybe they received information about a better job offer. Yan yung most common eh.
Tama.
Or the candidate is close to accepting na an offer of employment with another organization. You see, top candidates typically interview with more than one organization, not just your organization, but
Correct.
50 even. So if they think they're about to receive an offer from one employer, then they may simply drop out of the hiring process of the other employer. So, or employers, plural, if they're being considered by more than two organizations. I think they disappear because they think they have an offer in the bag. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they actually are shopping for the best company. So you have to give it to them. And also, that's why the best way for recruiters really is not to have one candidate, but several candidates. So that when they back up.
Always make sure that you have a pool. To have a successful
So anyway, Kier, do you have anything more to add?
Yeah, I just have to add something, Miss Chris, on what you said that yes, we already have video chat apps to use for your online interviews or to conduct online interviews in place of in-person job interviews. But don't you think that having a platform that has this one-way interview functionality would be a huge time saver? Because unlike video chat apps that would require you as a recruiter or our hiring professionals to arrange a set time to meet online, you don't using an online platform wouldn't require you to be present at every interview or worry about candidate no-shows.
Well, what is the platform?
Well, there are several platforms in the market, Miss Chris. If you ask me, the online video interviewing platform, they just have this one-way interview functionality.
Well, it depends really on first is how much it will cost for organizations.
Yes.
Right now, because it's not really a priority.
Cost effective.
Well, it's not really a priority to have a platform because usually if you're going to sell right now, you have to compete with a lot of priorities of companies. Right now, while it's a good time to market, certain investment like talent management tools, you have to understand that you are going to compete with more important concerns. Like companies right now are allocating budgets for health benefits or health related expenses. Oh yes. So COVID testing will be required after ECQ. So that's 8,000 per person. Although it's not like a law or it's just a suggestion, a guideline. Of course, we have to have the money to be able to fund that. So you just have to understand that it's not in the priority. It will help a lot, but it's not a priority because you don't know that if in certain industries, it's more of a cost-cutting. It's a cost-cutting game. So they're not hiring, but they're letting go. Okay.
But if you have the budget, if the company has the budget, then why not?
Budget and
yes,
direction.
Yeah.
I also noticed that some companies would be taking advantage of this lean season by looking at this as an opportunity because there's less operation. So right now, most employees and key talents would definitely have time for the trainings that you've been pushing when you were so busy.
Actually,
with operations, right?
It's a time for training.
Yes, right. And then it's also a time for us to do organization transformation because diba, it's so difficult to push for change. But this time, you have a compelling reason to really change, narrow the process.
No choice.
Prove,
no choice at the moment.
Yung drama. No?
Okay.
So that's also part of the talent management initiatives. Na kailangan talaga. Like now, I think what we have realized, Miss Chris, no, is that because of ECQ, we have come to realize ano ba yung important part ng value chain sa business natin. It became more more clear, 'di ba? Na marami pala tayong activities na hindi related sa negosyo or does not give value to the customer. Right?
Marami tayong ginagawa na hindi related.
That's true.
So that's why it streamlined everything. Anyway,
that's true.
I'll just kasi Ken, do we have comments or questions from our viewers?
Yeah, I sent a question sa iyo kanina.
Yeah. This is from, I can read naman the name, no? Glea Felicio. So, hi, there are already a lot of free online tests such as DISC and MBTI. Why is there a need to spend on buying a test? Why is this cost necessary?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you so much. Well, yes, we do recognize that there are a lot of assessments and tools that are easily downloadable. You can take it in the internet and it's for free. But again, I would go back to the two important points that you need to consider. Number one, is it a valid tool for the purpose of measuring a certain job requirement? And then next, is it reliable? Are there studies to support that this will consistently measure a particular attribute or competency that's required of that job? So, kung naman yung mga online assessments, you can do profiling, you become more self-aware, although I would give a caveat or a warning for those who would use it for hiring, especially if there are no validation studies yet to prove that it is really something that should be used for hiring and developing a person. Kasi kailangan din i-review niya yung psychometric properties ng tool. To whom is it intended for? Paano din-develop? Is it really the appropriate tool for your requirement? So yun, Ms.
Specification ng ng kukuha ng test actually. Usually kasi yung mga downloadables, just general.
Ma'am, can I ask, make a follow-up on that, a quick follow-up, because we are conscious of the price. Can you give a ballpark figure how much this test would cost?
We cannot give a specific figures because usually these assessments would be volume It depends on the volume of the requirement. Like if you get it in bulk, so you're getting a certain assessment for in a lot in a big volume, so you tend to spend lesser.
I didn't want to put you on the spot. It's just that I'm curious because she's asking why is this cost necessary. So maybe she's already doing the number crunch.
Oh,
I may
okay.
just add, if I may just add, Miss Chris and Ma'am Abby, I think that the reliability of the free online assessments, the free assessments online, um, I guess it has something to do with norming. The norms of the Filipinos may not be the same norms as those that are online, or those that are made by foreigners mostly. So there is like a cross-linguistic issue there, or a concern for free online assessments. So I guess that should answer why it is cost necessary for an organization to invest in talent management. I mean, in online workforce assessments.
So to summarize, it would be more fitting to invest in these tools because number one, okay, this can be more tailor fitted to like a Filipino employee. That's what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as compared to getting it online. Kasi yun ang norm eh. We'll just download an MBTI test, okay, and then we submit and then, oh, ano siya, INFP, INFJ, yung mga ISTJ, mga ganon. Okay. So it's more on the person, okay, our culture, and then of course to avoid maybe language gap also.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
I see.
And then to add to that, Miss Chris, no, so I would recommend also that if you are to use a tool for the purpose of hiring, it would be best if you have a certain set of benchmark, or it's according to a particular performance model. Like perhaps what you can do is you can have exceptional or exemplary employees taking that tool so that you would get to see what's the profile of good performers in this particular job.
Ito
So
yung
that's
control
also
group.
something that you can do, so that you get a benchmark. So a lot of the paid assessments really would recommend performance models and benchmarking to see if there's fit to the culture and to the job requirement.
And I guess another thing, Miss Chris, would be we do not know if the online assessments, those that are free online, are regularly revalidated. Some may have been there for decades already, and what may be acceptable in the past may not be acceptable now in the present. So, and because
obsolete na siya. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And because we are already talking about psychometric assessments, Miss Chris, Miss Donna, and Sir Ken, I know that there is this notion of the psychometric assessments is just for recruitment. I think it's high time to correct that notion. That while it is true that many companies use psychometric assessments for recruitment purposes, psychometric assessments are not just for recruitment. For example, they can help in the selection of candidates for promotion to leadership roles, which is a crucial decision to make because if you're going to safeguard the success and reputation of your organization, of course, you have to really know that person well and get the right, make the right decision spot on.
Yeah.
And psychometric tests can also be used for developmental purposes. Its results can be used as bases for coaching, career planning, training needs analysis, and God knows what more.
So, actually, yun nga yung question kasi we had a question before. Okay, so what are tests that are good for onboarding and what are tests that are good for if you want to decide that a certain employee is for promotion?
Okay. When it comes to assessments, you would need to know what you intend to measure. Like some companies, they'd like to assess according to competency. That's the best way to actually do it. Competency-based assessments. Some companies, they'd like to incorporate their culture fit requirements, which is why they do profiling to assess for things like extroversion or introversion, or keenness to details, and all of those attributes. There are also assessments that are really meant only for assessing career interest, or what's the type of occupations which would interest or motivate a particular person. So we would really recommend that it's a total person assessment. In fact, aside from the assessment, because we would really not recommend people to hire solely because of an assessment result, it even has to come with the interview result. And some assessments, they can generate suggestions for interview questions based on certain gaps from a certain benchmark or a performance model. And yes, and then it also has to come with reference check. Very, very important.
Ayan, character check.
Character, that's true. Getting to know, is this person the kind of person who gets into conflict very often? Ito ba yung mahilig magkwento ng mga totoo at hindi totoo na mga bagay-bagay?
Hindi. No, parang napaka-devious naman yan.
Sobrang creative.
Especially right now, kung meron na po tayong new normal, baka mahirap na rin mag-background check. So, yung mga ganyang test, okay din yan para to check na rin yung tao.
Sometimes they would, sometimes if it's really a critical position, sometimes they would outsource the background check. Again, that's costly, pero if it's a position which would require millions.
Actually, alam mo, I'll tell you, when I was hired by a Japanese company, natawa ako kasi merong pa silang private eye. Kasi, pag uwi ko,
Cyclops.
Oo, pag uwi ko, kasi, building, nasa condo building naman ako in San Juan before. So, pag uwi ko, nagbihis ako, yung time na yon I was still smoking. So, I smoked. So, I went down. Tapos, yung guard, sumisenya sa akin. Ako naman, bakit kaya? Tapos, pag maya-maya, yung pag natapos na ako mag-smoke, sabi niya, ma'am, private eye yun, nagtatanong tungkol sa inyo. So, inisip ko, bakit kaya may ganun? Tapos, when I was hired na, yun na, nalaman ko na they do those things. Kasi, may isa ding manager na i-hire. Gusto nila ako yung mag-coordinate with the private eye.
That's right. Tine-check nila yung community front, mga neighbors, mga utang.
Parang, sabi ko, nakutakot naman yan. Pina-investigat talaga ako. Pero syempre yung time na yon, gusto ko matanggap ako. Hindi na ako sumik. Hindi ko na sinabi na alam ko na chinek ako. Pero to myself lang, yung ako na yung nag-background check, binigay sa akin yung number. Alam ko na. Ito pala yun. Oh.
It's really very critical, Miss Chris. We had an experience before na a person in a senior executive position was actually pretending to be a degree holder. Tapos PRC regulated pa yung profession niya. Can you imagine? What was surprising, kasi yung taong yun has been in the industry for quite some time. also holding positions of authority in other companies. Ang galing nga niya eh. And then later on,
Na fake news tayo dun.
we found out na hindi pala to siya PRC, hindi pala siya nakapasa ng licensure, at hindi pala niya natapos yung course niya.
Okay,
So you
ito
can
yung
just
ang question
imagine.
ko. Okay, so, kasi we're talking about change, and actually the change has happened in the BPO industry. So, why, kasi parang that story that's rampant in the BPO industry, the nag-fake ng credentials, and not just like yung small or short courses, but college degree, pwede pala graduate, etc. But I think that, okay, in this industry, undergrads are hired. So why do you think there's a need to fake those credentials?
Oo nga.
Kasi minsan siguro, you would tend to imagine that it might prohibit you from applying later on for higher positions. And in the Philippines, they put a premium for college degrees, no? Even if it's not really required. Iba talaga yung treatment here in the Philippines if you have a particular degree or if you're college graduate.
Degree, yeah.
Oo nga eh. So it's really surprising, Miss Chris, that they can sleep at night and they can talk to you, and then they were falsifying documents. Sophisticated na rin ngayon ang mga talents, no? So usually we would encourage HR people to really have strong connections with the academe, with PRC, so that it's easier to actually verify this particular credentials. But it's true what you said earlier, Miss Chris. Now at this age, it's something that's no longer required. Di ba, more on competencies tayo rather than degrees, or rather than certifications, or rather than diplomas.
Because there are instances also, kasi may hinahire ako na undergrad, because among a batch of, kasi batch of 5 ako palagi, among a batch of 5, siya talaga yung pinakamagaling.
Wow.
I mean, kasi ang ang standard is just have an IQ test, and then because it's a BPO job, we go for com skills. So, among a batch of 5, siya yung I mean, he can actually articulate and reason out. So, and then during the interview, hindi lang magaling mag-English. It's the logic behind the answers. So that's why I'm curious about having to fake undergrad, kasi in a certain industry like PPO, parang hindi naman siya parang kumbaga may softening na hindi naman college degree holders ang hinahire eh. So it shouldn't be an issue to fake. Anyway, do we have more questions or more comments?
Yeah, wala pa naman. Wala naman masyado. Yeah.
So anyway, alam mo, actually our time flew so fast eh. So,
enjoy tayo.
Kasi napag-usapan natin ng MBTI, etc. And then we also talked about top jobs, okay, that you can, okay, that employers are looking for. And then yung survey ni Miss Abby, okay, about talent management tools, okay, what are the parang top 2 reasons, okay, that deter people from getting an ROI from them, okay, or even acquiring them. So yun. So anyway, Kier and Miss Abby, do you have anything, new promotions, or what's up in the next week?
Oh, next week, we'd like to invite you guys, especially those who are watching this podcast. Next week, we are having an online certification course. It's entitled Top of Mind Leadership. We entitled it as Top of Mind Leadership because we'd like to package it in a way wherein for the new normal, whether it's work from home, a virtual team, or people working on skeleton workforce arrangement, one of the important things that we'd like to do is to make sure that every team member in the group is aware of what are the priorities, what are the pressing concerns, and what they should be working on and what's expected of the performance standard. So it's an online certification course because it does not just mean that after attending the course, you get a certificate of completion immediately. Our online certification course would require you to take a pre-assessment before the course.
So may test.
May test siya.
Natakot ka sa test.
Situational din.
Tayo sa test.
So, i-assess yung leadership competencies required of you, especially in this time of adjustment. And then the online course would be on May 15, that's next Friday. And after that, hindi pa tapos, no? Those who would be taking the online certification course would need to work on the workshop output. They need to develop guidelines and implementable plans for the new normal.
Ay, maganda yun.
The organization design na dapat ba yun. So may checklist siyang gagawin, and then it would require the person who took the course to have a one-on-one meeting wherein ipipresent niya yung plan niya or output. And then there's coaching and there's an exchange of ideas.
Oh, so, that's great. Okay, so that would definitely help HR. So,
yes. So that's on May 15. Details are in our Facebook page, Profiles Asia Pacific, besides Mindanao.
Okay, so can somebody from Metro Manila can be part of that activity?
Yes. Yes, we have participants from Metro Manila. We also have participants from Mindanao. And from Visayas, of course. So they will come from different parts. Hopefully, different parts of the world. Pero hindi pa ganong level, Miss Chris.
Pero maganda yon kasi the other people can learn through the interaction, get some ideas, di ba?
Yes, that's true. And then it's a very small class. We're limiting it to 15 per batch. Because we'd like to be able to really have an interactive course rather than just a webinar wherein they just listen.
Oh, okay. So, tingnan natin doon kung free tayo. Pupunta tayo. We can still join. Okay. Anyway.
There's a registration link also which comes with the ads for the course.
Yeah, Abby, if ever, you could we could post the link din sa comment, and I could edit the link dito sa description so that our friends who are watching can actually check it out easily. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so sakto yun. Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice kasi it's super interesting, and I think this would help a lot of people then. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. We'll do that.
Ma'am Abby.
Yes, Miss Dawn.
Opo. Ma'am, di ba sabi mo kanina may client ka na nag-attend ulit ng training mo second time. Bumait na ba siya? Hindi na siya masungit?
Yun hindi pa namin na-monitor. Ipapadala namin kay Ken. If makita ko sa next run, I'll contact Ken immediately.
Yeah, if she wants to change naman, I could do a free session for her. Wala namang problema. Yeah.
At interviewin natin sa HR Shouts.
Interviewin natin, madam. Gusto ko yan.
Wow.
Bakit ka masungit? Ganun.
Hindi mo
Work
ba
of
alam may mas masungit sa'yo?
Oo.
Ganun.
Hanggang sa HR shouts.
Oo. So,
Ay,
yan.
nako.
Enjoy
Okay.
yan.
Anyway, Kier, you have anything to add?
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Chris. As I've mentioned earlier, I have a business writing course this coming May 22. That's the Friday the Friday after next week. So right after my course would be another course by Ma'am Abby that is entitled Performance Monitoring, Organization Development Fundamentals. You see, we because we are offering these three online instructor-led certification courses, we are offering a 3-course bundle discount. This 3-course bundle discount, of course, is still up for grabs, but it would not be for long. Availing yourself of such a bundle would give you access to, of course, all the 3 courses, and you would save a big amount of money over the individual course rate. And of course, if cost is a concern, you can split the fee with a colleague or a friend who may be interested in a course or two that you do not intend to attend. So that way, you all get credentialed while paying a reduced price. Also, we understand that HR professionals have a tight schedule, and it can be unpredictable at times. So if that HR professional can't attend the training, he or she can always send a colleague or someone else. They just have to let us know. So that's it.
So they can avail of the bundle. Okay, it can be not just one person, but they can split the cost divided by 3. Okay, so we'll check it out. You can also send the link so that we can post it in the comment section. Okay, so how about, yes, how about Ken? Okay, anything new?
Syempre, always. It's always something with Ken. Tomorrow, we're gonna have HR Shouts and Whispers. Ask me anything. So ask us anything. We'll be live. I think what time? What time, Chris?
It's either 7 or 9. Kasi
Yan natin.
Oo, kasi yung we were talking about it tapos magla-live na tayo.
Yeah, so yung mga maraming tanong in regards dun sa
SBWS, Small Business Wage Subsidy.
Small Business Wage Subsidy. Yeah, you could ask all your questions yan. Sasagutin nila yan, di ba? Wala akong alam dun. Sila sasagot yan.
Well, masasagot natin, hindi na sila pwede mag-apply because the deadline was today. So,
ayun.
tapos na yung araw.
Yeah.
So, hindi na kayo pwede mag-apply.
Yeah. Tapos, this coming Sunday, we're back with the NLP therapy session with one of my mentors, si John Boha. That will be session 3. This is free. It's a webinar type thing that we're gonna do on Sunday, 7 p.m. And the topic that we're gonna play with is negative self-talk. It's more of the critical voice inside your head.
Ay, nako, ito na yung kinakausap ang sarili, di ba?
Katakot yan.
Anyway, negative self-talk, I mean, bobo ka, tanga mo, hindi mo kaya yan. There's...
Kala ko, parang ako na.
Well, we could work with that. Ano lang, siguro if our friends who are watching are interested in learning more or they want to help themselves more, yeah, join us Sunday. It's chill naman tayo dun. And then I think next May 16, that would be the digital marketing bootcamp with Nix Inigo. Nix is one of the really top marketers we look up here in the Philippines, and the founder of Social Media Academy. And he's doing a digital marketing bootcamp. It's online, so if anywhere you're here or abroad, you could join us. Message nyo lang ako so that I could assist you with the registration. And siguro last but not the least, 2 programs ulit, babalik ulit yung Hypnotic Communication Masterclass and yung Limitless program probably by June. So we're still finalizing some dates, pero if you want to learn about neuro-linguistic programming, general things about NLP, hypnosis, hypnotherapy and conversational hypnosis and hypnotic languaging, that's the course for you. So yun. Ayun lang. And shout out sa Job Street. Yeah, nag-announce na tayo ng partnership with them. And more partnerships to come.
Job Street!
Ay. Yun.
Yay!
Donna,
Wow,
any words of wisdom for
congratulations.
our HR people?
Sino? Sa
Sorry,
akin?
ma'am.
Si
Sa inyo.
Donna,
Donna.
Ano po?
any advice? Okay, before, para makatulog na yung mga HR people
Para
natin.
makatulog tayo ng mahimbing ngayong gabi.
Kumain
Number
ng
1.
choknut.
Yes. Okay yan, chocolate. Pero hintayin muna natin yung wag muna tayong, don't rush kung ano yung dapat gawin after ng ECQ. Better maghintay muna tayo ng announcement ng mga experts. Yun po.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're
you.
actually okay. We had a productive session again. It was very helpful, Miss Abby
Yeah,
and
it's nice.
Kier.
Very, yeah.
Naliwanagan
Thank you, Miss
tayo
Abby.
dyan.
Thank you, Kier. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Donna.
Nice
And-
topics, yeah.
And we hope that our viewers also, okay, they continue to give us suggestions for topics. If they want to be a guest in our podcast, okay then. Wala naman. You're very welcome naman. Okay, so just give us your suggestions to hrshoutsandwhispers@gmail.com. Okay, so we will attend to it. Sometimes lang kasi since we're busy also, hindi namin nasasagot kaagad. But we will try to answer your questions and then even acknowledge your feedback. And then also meron tayong winner doon sa ating pakulo nung last podcast. Okay, so si Luisa de Mesa, she won 100 pesos of load. Okay, prepaid load. So for answering the quiz.
Congrats!
Oo.
Nice.
Ayun, nag-answer
Congrats.
siya ng quiz. Okay. Okay, so yun lang, we're growing and then we're all very inspired to give you more quality content. Okay, so until then, okay, good evening. Okay.
Night.
And have a good night's sleep. Okay, wag niyo muna isipin yung SBWS na yan.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
bye-bye.
Happy
Good night.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.